And if you would like to move up to the front of the room, you can, so you can see that a little bit better, but it is kind of, okay, good. Yes, it is a big TV. All right, so again, my first one was red. I made a circle down here. I'm going to combine red and orange to make a red-orange. I'm going to put my orange down first. You got a pencil sharpener, right? Come on up to this cabinet. You have these nice colored pencils though, right? Okay, good. Open this one. It says drawing supplies. On this other side, the left side, there's a box that says pencil sharpeners, so you can take one of those. So I am putting down a layer of orange, and I'm going in circles. This is my first layer.
I nailed it too, Mom. I couldn't figure it.
That's awesome. And just as a reminder, y'all, I am recording this, and I can't really edit out everything that we say. Oh my gosh, I cheated. I'm only letting you guys use the primary colors, and I started off with orange. And I have to make my own orange, and so do you. I'm sorry. How do we make orange? We use yellow. And we use red. So if you haven't done this rainbow chart yet, there's another video on my YouTube channel, and a little bit it should be posted, of how to make these blend together. But we went from a heavy pressure to a light pressure. And Prisma colored pencils are all about layering. So I'm filling up this circle, and I'm making something called a tertiary color. Tertiary colors are, again, the color combination between your primary and secondary color. The one I am making right now is red-orange. And I'm going to go over it again with my yellow. Now see, I cheated a little bit though, accidentally used my orange. But I only gave you all the 3 primary colors, so I am sorry. Okay. So I always start off with red. I just do. So I want this orange that I made to be more red than my orange that I did up at the top of my chart. And it is. But I do like to add a lot of layers. This is burnishing. This is pushing all of that pigment down into the paper. I could make my circle look a little bit better, but we don't need to be perfect. And I'm pushing it down with another layer of yellow. So the next one I'm going to make is yellow-orange. I always call this one yo. Yellow-orange. Row, yo, yug, bub. I'm going to have fun with that. Before I use my pencil, I like to make sure it's clean. If you're using one of these pencil sharpeners, I prefer to use the larger hole for sharpening colored pencils. It keeps the tip shorter, so it doesn't break as much. I'm going to clean up my circle so I don't get graphite in it. And I'm going to start off with my yellow. Now I want this one to be lighter than the orange that I made up at the top. So I'm going to have to be very gentle. So you can't see what I'm coloring. Blurk. And it has to be lighter than the color I'm pointing at right now. So I'm going to be very gentle about how much I apply my red. And it's going to take a couple of layers. The trick I was telling my students last time is going in a cross-hatching pattern. So I'm going up and down, and then I'm going to go side to side, and I'm pressing very lightly. So last class we worked on our pressure blending, and that's what these examples are up here. I wanted you to go very heavy dark to a very heavy light, and if you're starting over, then yours doesn't have to be this intense. All right, so then I'm going to go over this again in an opposite direction. Went up and down with my red. Now I'm going to go side to side with my yellow. And it blends it in together like magic. It's not magic, it's science. These Prisma colors are waxier, So if you are using, say, Crayola at home, it's not going to be as paint-like in this. Okay, so I'm not going to put another layer of red on because I don't want it to be the same type of orange in here. So I'm just going to keep on layering yellow. So I went up and down, then side to side. I need it to be a little bit more yellow than orange. Okay. The next one I'm going to make is yellow-green. There will be a quiz where I ask you the order of the rainbow and the order of the tertiary colors as well in there. So this order is very important for you. So I can't cheat, and I got to make sure that there's no red left on my colored pencil, and there is some in here. So I usually do is I scribble it on the back side of my paper. You can do this inside of your sketchbook or on a sheet of lined paper or in your or just a computer sheet of paper. That's what I'm using. So I'm going to put down my yellow, going up and down strokes. And then I'm going to do my blue incredibly light because I want it to be a lighter green than the one above it. So I'm being very careful about how hard I press on this. It's going to look pretty dark at first. That's because my colors haven't blended together yet. So I'm switching up the directions so I don't see those lines. Then my green blends together. I am pressing down pretty hard. You might be able to notice like the pressure in my nails change, the color. That's how heavy I'm pressing down. So it needs to be more yellow than green. So it needs to be brighter, and it is, than the green that I have up there. The next section is still a green color. It's a blue-green, but it has more blue in it. If you notice, I have been saying the primary colors first when I say these. I've been saying blue-green, yellow-green, yellow-orange, yellow-red, and that should help you remember which one of those is the primary color. So I again am going to start off with using my yellow. This one is going to look a little bit more teal than anything. I'm pressing down a little bit harder with my yellow right now. Again, switching up directions is helpful. So went up and down. Have the same amount of pressure applied to the whole thing. So right now this is the same color as my original green that I drew in my chart above the day before. I need it to have more blue in it though. So I'm making a darker green. So I haven't started burnishing it yet. I haven't started pushing down too terribly hard on it yet, but I'm going to soon. Right now with my yellow. If you always press down hard, you're not going to be able to apply that color over and over again. That's why I started off really light and then push down hard. So now it has more blue in it than green. So it is more heavy on the blue than it was up there. So we've got our green, we've got a more green that has more yellow in it and a green that has more blue. And now we're going to make a blue-violet. This one is going to have more blue in it than purple. And as you can see, I've just been using my primary colors to get different variations of this, of all of these. So I went even amount of pressure. The blue, I think, is one of the heaviest pigments. It looks so dark as soon as I press on it. I think it's the most dominant, especially with this colored pencil brand. I rotate my paper when I draw, it just helps me draw better. Now I'm putting my red over it. Even pressure all the way around, making sure I didn't leave any spots out. So that just has 2 layers on it, and it's a pretty good blue-violet. I'm gonna just add some more blue on top of it. Even pressure all the way around. And it doesn't stop there. Have one more of these to do. Red violet, because remember, my rainbow started over again. You could totally say red purple, but that just sounds weird. I think it's because, like, on colored pencils, we've all been trained to say red violet or blue violet instead of purple. I would love to know the history between the word violet and purple and why that changed. Thank you again to my class for being quiet and respectful while I make this little video demonstration for my other group. But if you do have questions, you can put it in the chat box in our Google Meet, and I will answer those, or you can email me. I'm almost done with this little demo. That's short for demonstration. Okay. I am going to be layering my blue a lot lighter than my red, but it's still the same amount of pressure in the whole circle. I didn't press down harder randomly. I'm keeping the same medium pressure all the way around. Again, I want it to have more red in it than blue. So I'm pushing down the red. I'm not going to add any white to this. Like, I cheated and let you guys add white to the violet above so that you could actually see that pigment come out a little bit more. But I am going to add just a little bit more blue into this because it is all about the layers. Then I'm going to go over it one more time with my red. I'm going to make it very heavy with the red. That's starting to look like a more purple. And I'm sure on the video for my student here that's in class, it looks very, very dark. Let me turn on this light. Now you can see how waxy it is. You can't really see how brilliant the colors look. It just looks very dark. I'm trying to angle it differently. It looks different in person. Okay, those are my tertiary colors. There we go. Now we can see everything. The next thing I'm going to do are my complementary colors. And then we will focus on tints and shades where we're adding blacks and whites. So we're going to be getting a lot more colors in here. But for now, we just focused on our basic rainbow order and adding in those tertiary colors on the bottom. So again, red is primary, orange is secondary, then yellow primary, green secondary, blue primary, violet secondary, and in between each of those, you have a tertiary color. All right, I'm going to stop this recording now. Oops. Here's all my pencils. Where's my mouse?